those aspects. Again, we have. So, yeah, dear students, once again, welcome to this online tutorial on principles of communication systems. So we'll be discussing on some of the very important aspects as far as a real radio transmission is concerned. That is FM stereo multiplexing and super heterodyne receiver. If you see, it is used in almost all analog TV receivers. Right. And we'll also, as a part of third module, we'll solve some problems. Right. So I may take 5 minutes extra. Right. So we'll start. So initially FM stereo multiplexing. Right. So you might be familiar with the term monophonic and stereophonic sounds. Right. So monophonic sound means if you are recording a speech or a song, you'll be using only one mic or one sensor. Right, and you'll be transmitting that. But in practice, right, we all are familiar with using actually what stereophonic. If you are using a headset, right, what will happen is in both the earpieces of your headset, you'll be getting different signals, not the same music. Right, as you're getting different signal, right, you will get that spatial dimension. Right, so like a person is singing and you can see orchestra is being played from a spatially different place. That feel, if you have to get, right, we should transmit stereo signal. So for that, what we have is, as you all are familiar with, we'll have actually what two speakers or two earpieces, left and right. So if it is two speakers, L and R will be there. You might be already familiar with that. So it's not right. It's not sufficient that we are able to transmit a single signal. So we should be able to transmit two different signals, that is L and R. Especially this is being used in FM transmission, right? You in car, we used to tell actually what car stereo, right? So it's a stereo FM receiver, right? So in olden days, we had actually what monophonic FM receivers, right? Which was more suitable for this on speech or voice transmission, wherein the spatial dimension was not that important, right? But if it is music, or we have voice plus other instruments, wherein, right, if we exactly can differentiate between the spatial dimensions of individual voice source, right, it will give us a better feel, right? So that's where this FM stereo multiplexing comes. So what an FM, right, I'll make this slide available to you, right? So what an FM stereo multiplexer should do. So before that, like in this, I've just given a link to a video. It will give you exact idea what is the difference between monophonic and stereophonic sound. It's a just 3 minute 36 seconds video. You all can watch that so that you will get a feel, right? So as I told, what happens is in like FM systems, we'll be using two microphones. Right, and to record left and right signals. So this L should be played through one speaker and R should be played through the other speaker. Right. So each of this, if you talk technically, each of these are voice signals, right? Voice or signal. So it will have a, right, these are a message signal. It will have a spectra like this. Each of this will have some spectra like this, right? Spectra. These are almost similar, but it will have some some variation, as these two mics are kept at some spatially different places. It will have some variation, right? So this is actually what, say, M1 of F or ML of F, right? And this is MR of F, right? This is left and right signals. So as I've told, in FM, the maximum frequency content actually which we'll consider is 15 kilohertz. So this individual signal will be of 15 kilohertz bandwidth. What we need to do is we should transmit this and this over same frequency. Suppose you are listening to a 98.3 FM, 98.3 FM. So it uses actually what the carrier frequency in this is 98.3 megahertz, right? In this carrier frequency, we should transmit these two signals, that is left and right signals, right? So that is our requirement, right? So if you mix these two just like this and transmit, right, you won't be able to differentiate it at the end. And why? Because both are same frequency. So what basically this FM stereo multiplexing will do is, right, it will take one signal as such it will take, right? So, and then what it will do is it will, right, frequency translate, right? It will frequency shift the other signal, right? It will frequency shift the, not exactly, I'm just giving you an idea, right? It will frequency shift the other signal by an amount so that they won't overlap, right? It will frequency shift the other signal by an amount so that they won't overlap, right? So, and then along with this, we'll have to transmit a pilot carrier also, right? A pilot carrier is, right? So normally these frequencies are, if this is 15 kilohertz, this center frequency should be 38 kilohertz, right? And pilot carrier should be at 19 kilohertz. We'll tell what is the reason, right? So that it won't overlap. So this pilot carrier, right? This is actually what DSB-SC modulating. This, not this pilot carrier, right? Double, right? Twice this pilot carrier. This is actually what DSB-SC modulating the other signal. So this is the basic idea. So then this entire thing will become actually what this entire multiplexed. This is actually what frequency division multiplexing. This entire multiplex signal will become our new M of t, our new M of t. That is the idea, right? So are you getting? So the basic idea is if we have to transmit L and R signals through same channel, right? For that, what one of the solution is stereo FM stereo multiplexing. So I'll straight away go to what FM stereo multiplexing part, right? So here this ML of t is actually what our left side signal, MR of t is our right side signal. So we have a matrixer here. What this matrixer does is, right, you can see this is adding ML of t and MR of t. So what we'll get here is ML of t plus MR of t, right? And here what we'll get is we are subtracting ML of t minus MR of t. So here it is ML of t minus MR of t, what we are getting here, right? So, and you can see here we have a local an oscillator, right, which will produce, this is actually exactly 19 kilohertz, right? This is exactly 19 kilohertz for FM, right, which uses, right, for our current FM system, this frequency will be 19 kilohertz. If it is passed through a frequency doubler, what is the frequency which is available here? 19 kilohertz. If we double, what will be the frequency which is available here? That will be 38 kilohertz, right? That is 38 kilohertz. So if you see here, this ML plus MR, this is actually what kept as such. This ML plus MR is kept as such, but this MR of t plus ML minus MR, this ML minus MR, right? That is DSB-SC modulated, or it's simply actually what frequency shifted or frequency translated, whatever you can tell, right? So this is DSB-SC modulated with this 38 kilohertz signal, right? This is DSB-SC modulated with this 38 kilohertz signal, and these two are added, right? These two are added together, right? So these two are added together. This is cos 2 pi FCT, so this will be actually what cos 4 pi FCT. So how to write the time domain expression? The signal M of t will be, right, I'll write it here. So it is ML of t plus MR of t, right? This plus what we are doing, this ML of t minus MR of t, ML of t minus MR of t, right? We are modulating it with cos 4 pi FCT. So cos 4 pi FCT, right? These two are added together, right? Along with that, what we have is, you can see this K is some gain which is provided to this particular carrier, right? Plus K times, right? This I'll close, plus K times cos 2 pi FCT. So this is what is being transmitted. So please don't confuse it with actually what our 98.3 megahertz, right? Please don't confuse it with our 98.3 megahertz. I think someone is trying to join. I'll just accept him. What happened, Shilpa? Why you are so late? Yeah, so all of you are able to follow this at least, right? So please do, right? Listen carefully. This is really interesting, right? So what happens is, right? So this is not 98.3 megahertz, right? Or our FM carrier frequency. This is when this FC is nothing but what 19 kilohertz. Please do keep in mind. This is only for, right? This is our message signal. This will be later on FM modulated, right? This will be given to an FM modulator later, right? So I didn't tell anything about FM modulation. Before modulating, we have to multiplex the stereo signals, right? That is left and right signals we have to multiplex. That how it is done, that's what I'm telling, right? So and one more thing I told earlier, we had actually what monophonic system, right, which used only one signal, right? So but all of a sudden you start transmitting stereophonic system, right? So those who are using monophonic radio receivers, they'll be in trouble, they won't be able to receive, right? So that's why I mentioned one of the very important requirement is the stereophonic system should be compatible with monophonic system, right? So if you see this particular signal ML plus MR, right, in a monophonic system only this, right, ML plus MR will be considered, other one will be discarded, right? In a monophonic, right, both the speakers will play back same signal. So in a monophonic system only this ML plus MR will be considered. These complications are not required. So if you consider a monophonic receiver or transmitter, it is very simple. But the stereophonic, it can give good effect, right? But the system is becoming complicated. So what we have is this one is ML plus MR. This is right. If it is only monophonic, this part will be useful at the receiver end. And we have ML minus MR, which is frequency shifted by an amount, actually what cos 4 pi fc, right? That is frequency shifted to 38 megahertz. Then what we have is this 19 kilohertz signal. So why do we need this, right? So suppose I have this ML plus MR and ML minus MR, right? ML plus MR and ML minus MR, right? How can I get back ML and MR at the receiver? If I add these two, what I'll get? If I add these two, I'll get 2 ML. If I subtract, right, I'll get 2 MR. So if I use a similar matrixer at the receiver end, I can get them back, right? If I use a similar matrixer at the receiver end, I can get them back. But this, if it is a monophonic receiver, only the ML plus MR will be considered, right? And one more thing is there, as I have shown the spectrum, right? As I have shown the spectrum, this is say this is ML plus MR, right? This is ML plus MR, and this is our carrier frequency FC, and this is our, right, ML minus MR, right? So this entire thing is our message signal now, right? And you can see ML plus MR and ML minus MR, they are not overlapping, so that there won't be any problem at the receiver end using actually what filters. If I want to get only ML plus MR, what I should do? If I want to get ML plus MR, it is centered at 0 frequency, right? If I use a low pass filter, I'll get ML plus MR here, right? To get this part, I have to use a low pass filter, right? So that low pass filter is used so that I'm getting ML plus MR here, right? And if I use a narrow band filter of 19 kilohertz, if I use a narrow band filter of 19 kilohertz, I'll get exactly what frequency I used to what shift this, right? If I use a narrow band filter, it will give 19 kilohertz here, right? It will give 19 kilohertz here. And if I frequency double, I'll get 38 kilohertz, right? And if I use a band pass filter, which is centered at 38 kilohertz, right? 38 kilohertz, I will get ML minus MR here. I'll get ML minus MR here. ML minus MR into cos 4 pi or cos 4 pi FCT, right? Cos 4 pi FCT. This is like DSBSC. So this is DSBSC demodulation, right? Coherent detection, right? You multiply it with carrier and low pass filter. So you will get ML minus MR. So this is actually what ML minus MR DSBSC modulated signal we'll get here, right? And that we need to know, right, which frequency is used. That's why we are transmitting this pilot, right? We are transmitting this pilot because we will know which frequency is used. Then you may ask me, why can't you transmit this 38, right? Why can't this oscillator produce 38 kilohertz itself and transmit it along with this? But if you transmit along with this, you can see this to remove this 38 kilohertz, right? Use from this ML minus MR spectrum, it is not that easy. But if you see this, right? So this is 15 kilohertz. This will be say 23 kilohertz. This will be 53 kilohertz. This is actually what 38 kilohertz, and this is 19 kilohertz. So we can have a design a filter so that we can exactly get this carrier frequency, and using that we'll get ML minus MR back, right? Then if you use a matrixer here, you'll get left and right signal. So this is FM stereo multiplexing, right? So this is M of t alone, right? This is M of t alone. So here we are M of t we are giving to an FM modulator, right? Then we are at the receiver and we are FM demodulating it, right? We are demodulating it, and then this demodulated signal, what this is actually what demultiplexing part. This is demultiplexing part. This entire thing is demultiplexing part, right? This is multiplexing part. So is it clear what is meant by FM stereo multiplexing? I need, right? So we need to go on fast. So I need response, right? Is it clear? And this is very important even for your university exam, right? And this topic is included in, right, as a part of your, right, internals as well. Like, is it clear? Did anyone get an idea of what does FM stereo multiplexing? Yes, right. So okay, I'll provide this PPT also available. So this is about FM stereo multiplexing. So that's why, right, you have, if you you might have experienced, right? So when one of the earpieces of your headphone is not working, you won't get the same experience. Why? Because both earpieces are not giving you same signal if it is a stereo, right? But the problem with stereo signal is, stereo signal, you see the bandwidth, it's almost equal to what? 53 kilohertz. Bandwidth is almost equal to 53 kilohertz. Whereas if it was a mono signal, it would only have, actually what? 15 kilohertz. This I'm telling actually what message bandwidth, right? Message bandwidth itself is 53 kilohertz for stereo, but for mono it would have been less. And if you compare between mono and stereo, mono complexity will be very less. Here complexity will be very high for stereo, right? But in terms of storage space, right, mono is better. And if it is only voice, a single person talking, there is nothing actually not much spatial aspects in that, right? You can use mono itself, right? So that you can save some space. Right. So any doubt in this? If you have any doubt, please feel free to ask. Otherwise, we'll move on to super heterodyning. Right. That is another important aspect which is used in, right, all analog TV reception. Maybe if you ask me whether do we have analog TV reception, right? Yet in some places, right, people are using analog television, right? So can I move ahead? Can anyone unmute me and tell? Can I move ahead with super heterodyning? Yeah, fine. So we'll move on to super heterodyne receiver, right? And so super heterodyne receiver, right? So actually, a FM or AM, anything, let it be FM or AM, right? What we have to do is, apart from demodulating, the incoming modulated signal also required to perform actually what some other task. For instance, if we consider FM stations, how many FM stations do we have? We have 5-6 different FM stations, right? So if you have to tune to one particular FM station, that is big FM, what you should do is you should, right, the receiver carrier frequency should be tuned to what that, but if we say if it is 98.3, right, you should tune to 98.3 megahertz. The carrier frequency should be tuned to 98.3. If it is 103, right, 103.5, right, so it should be tuned to that particular carrier frequency. So apart from demodulation, right, if it is AM or FM, the receiver should do some other task as well. So carrier frequency tuning, right, and also it should do filtering, right? If you do carrier frequency tuning, so what the radio stations will be something like this, right? The transmitted signal will be some, one is at actually what 98.3, right? Other one will be at 91.9, right? Other one will be at 91.9. These signals are being transmitted like this. So what you should do is, if you have to receive only to 98.3, you should use a filter in frequency domain which will actually what transmit only this particular signal, right? If the filter is allowing other part of the signal, what will happen? It will cause interference, right? So there should be filtering, and this filter should have actually what high Q value. What is Q value of a filter, right? Q value of a filter is nothing but what? It is resonance frequency divided by bandwidth, right? So it's resonance frequency divided by bandwidth. So if the response of a filter is something like this, and resonance frequency is this, and 3 dB bandwidth, right? This is maximum, and this is minus 3 dB, right? Maximum minus 3 dB. If this is bandwidth, right? So this should be highly frequency selective. So Q factor means it is resonance frequency divided by bandwidth. So the filter which we use should have high Q factor, right? It should be able to tune, means it should be a variable filter. You should be able to tune it for different frequencies, and it should have high Q factor, and it should also provide amplification. So apart from demodulation, right, a receiver should do all these things. So if you are using only an RF stage, that is, you are using a receiver which operates strictly in this, say, 88 to 108 megahertz, right? So in RF band, this is actually called RF, right, or radio frequency, right? In radio frequency range, to have a filter, right, a variable filter, right, to have a variable filter with high Q is very difficult, right? To have a variable filter with high Q factor is very difficult thing. So that's why conventional receivers fail there. Conventional receivers, right, if it is AM or FM, they fail to perform these things practically, right? So efficiently, right, they can do, but it's not that easy, right? You should be able to tune into any given carrier frequency, and it should have same Q factor. It's not that easy thing, right? So that we'll be going for what super heterodyne receiver. So in AM and FM radio, right, these are right, RF carrier range is actually what, if it is FM, you know, it is 88 to 108 megahertz, and if it is AM, it's actually what, 535 kilohertz to 1605 kilohertz, right? And for AM, the IF frequency, right? So whichever be the carrier frequency, right, will be right, translating it to some IF frequency. I'll tell that. So IF frequency used in AM is 455 kilohertz or 0.455 megahertz, and for FM it is 10.7 megahertz, and IF bandwidth is 10 kilohertz, and in this case it is 200 kilohertz. So what do you mean by super heterodyning? So normally this RF section, it will be tuned to our carrier frequency FC. That carrier frequency, say for S of t is AC cos 2 pi FCT times M of t. Say I'm considering about SSB signal, right? M of t into AC cos 2 pi FCT. So this will be our 90. This will fall. This FC will fall between actually what? This is our FC, right? For AM, FC will be in this range. For FM, FC will be in this range, right? So 98.38 megahertz or whatever, right? So this RF section, what it will do is it will allow only that part. Maybe if I want to listen big FM, so this RF section is tunable, right? It will tune to what, 90 center frequency 98.8 megahertz, and will only allow, right, say the bandwidth which is required for that particular channel, right? So we are not doing the processing in this RF stage. What we are doing is we are using a mixer and a local oscillator. This is actually called what? Heterodyning, right? Heterodyning, right? This mixer plus this local oscillator itself is also a variable, right? What this mixer does is, mixer in turn will have a product, right, followed by a low pass filter, right? A multiplication followed by a low pass filter. So if you are multiplying two, right, so here what we have is FC, and here if it is FLO, F local oscillator, right? So if you multiply two cosinusoids, you will get actually what? Sum and difference frequency. You know that, right? Cos of A, cos A into cos B, you will get actually what? A plus B and A minus B, right? So if you multiply two frequencies, you will get sum and difference. So if you pass it through a low pass filter, what you will get? You will get only difference, right? So this difference IF section, right? This IF section is for AM, it is actually what? 455 kilohertz, whichever be the station you are tuned into, right? For AM, it will be 4, right? This after this down conversion, this will be actually what? 455 kilohertz. So that, right, here, what we need to do is the selective filter, right? We can implement a high Q, like gain filter in 455 kilohertz, right? So whichever be, so what happens is here, right, whichever be the station, that will be allowed, and that will be actually what frequency translated down to 455 kilohertz. Then remaining everything happens in actually what 455 kilohertz. The only thing what you should do is the local oscillator should be able to produce different frequencies depending upon this local oscillator frequency, right? Whichever be this FC, right? Whichever be this FC, we should adjust the local oscillator frequency in such a way that, right, FC minus FLO, it should be equal to FIF. Difference between local oscillator and this FC should be FIF, right, or FLO minus FC, right? In any way you can tell. The difference should be FI 455 kilohertz. For example, right, if FC is equal to 1000 kilohertz, right? FC is equal to 1000 kilohertz, and FIF is equal to 455 kilohertz, right? Then what should be this FLO? Right, what should be this FLO? What I should get is, if I write FLO minus FC is 455, which means this FLO should be what? FC plus 455, that is 1455 kilohertz, right? So if I tune it to 1455 kilohertz, and this is 1 megahertz which we are receiving here. So at the output stage, right, of the mixer or intermediate section, I'll get 455, right? So then we can use envelope detector. If it is an AM, we'll be using envelope detector. If it is FM, we'll be using other modulation scheme. And you just remember the mid frequencies, right, or intermediate frequencies used in AM is actually what 1.455, and for FM it is 10.7 megahertz. So accordingly, you should tune the local oscillator so that whatever be the frequency input here everything will be same. It will be 455. Only difference is in this tuning of this local oscillator. So having a variable oscillator, it is easy, right? Having a variable oscillator, it is easy, but having a filter with high Q factor, that is not that easy, right? So this actually what overcomes the problem of our conventional AM or FM receiver. So this is actually what super heterodyne receiver. So basically super heterodyne receiver has an RF section and an IF section. So it, right, this first part is called RF section and second part is called actually what IF section, right? So this IF section, what it does is it produces a local oscillator and converts this signal into what, without disturbing anything, without disturbing information, right? The spectrum which was centered at FC, right, it is translated into what, FIF, right? The spectrum which was centered at FC, it is translated down to FIF, and the remaining operation, right, what envelope detection or whatever it happens accordingly, right? So that is actually what super heterodyning, right? So in super heterodyning, one important problem is actually what, image interference, right? In super heterodyning, one important problem is image interference. So maybe I will just see that little bit in detail. What is image interference? So those who are preparing for gate and all, right, gate IAs and all, this image interference is very frequently asked question. So we will consider only that mixer part, right? We'll consider only that mixer part, right? So to one end of mixer, we are getting FC, and here we are giving a local oscillator, right, FLO frequency, and this should be say FIF, right? So I can write FIF should be equal to, right, FIF should be equal to what, FC or sorry, yeah, right, excuse me, by mistake I exited from that screen, right? So what should happen is once again, right, mixer FC, and this is FIF, right? So maybe we want to find what actually should be this FLO, right? So if this is FLO, right, FIF is nothing but what, FLO or FLO minus FC or mode of it, right? Maybe whichever is greater, difference between, right? I mean to say the difference, right? The difference, FLO minus FC, that is FIF. So if you consider FLO is greater than FC, right, we can write FLO will be equal to F, say IF plus FC, right? FLO should be equal to FIF plus FC. So that is, this should be, right, compared to FC. So it will see what is the carrier frequency. So all of a sudden, this receiver should tune the local oscillator frequency to FC plus FIF, so that at the output what we'll get FIF. So what we will get? FC plus FIF minus FC. What we'll get? This FC and FC will get cancelled. We'll get only FIF, right? So that's how it works. But just imagine, instead of this FC, you are getting here FC plus 2IF. Right, sorry, FC plus 2 times FIF, right? If I'm getting FC plus 2 times FIF, so what will be the output? The output will be FC plus 2 times FIF minus FC plus FIF, right? So what will happen? So this FC and FC will get cancelled, right? 2 FIF minus FIF, again we'll get FIF. Right. So what happens is, right, if you take an example, if FC is equal to 1000 kilohertz, right, and FIF is equal to 455 kilohertz. So this is a typical case of a radio, right? So now what should be in this case? What should be the local oscillator frequency and what should be the image frequency? So this frequency, right, FC plus 2 FIF, that is called actually what? Image frequency. Why? Because that also, apart from FC, if the input frequency is FC plus 2 FIF, it will also give same FIF, right? So the mixer, it won't see what is there at the input. The mixer basically what it does is, it will take the difference between these two frequency. That's it, right? It will give out the difference between these two frequency, right? So whichever is greater, whichever is less, that also mixer won't see, right? It will take difference between two frequencies. That is the thing, right? So now in the case when FC is equal to 1000 kilohertz and FIF is equal to 455 kilohertz, right? What will be the local oscillator frequency? We have seen local oscillator frequency will be, right, 455 plus 1000, right? 455 plus 1000. That will be 1455 will be our local oscillator frequency, right? Now what happens is right? So here we have 1000, right? Here we have 1455, right? So 1455 and 1000. What is the difference? I'll get 455 here, right? But you just imagine. One second, I'll just use some different color so that, right? You just imagine, right? Here, this is 1455 only. This is 1455 only. But instead, here it is, right? 1000 plus 2 times 455. Right? 1000 plus 2 times 455. Now, what is the difference? Right? This is 1455 plus 455. Right? So the difference again is actually what? 455. So that is, if it is 1000, here IF output will be 455. And even if it is, what is 2 times 455? It is, right, 1910 kilohertz. Right? Even then, the FIF will be 455. So in this case, right, it will accept both. This heterodyne receiver will play both. If there is a channel which is at 1910 kilohertz, then that will be played along with actually what? The channel at 1000 kilohertz, right? So it will be an interference. So this is called image frequency problem, right? Image frequency problem. So this one problem which I discussed is actually what? It's a 2014 IES question, right? FC is 1000 kilohertz, FIF is 455 kilohertz. Then find what is the local oscillator frequency and what is the image frequency, right? So are you clear with, did you get some idea at least about this super heterodyning and image frequency reduction. Did you get? Now please give me a quick feedback. Hello? I think no one understood. Right. Please, if you have any doubt, please feel free to ask. Right. Okay, maybe this problem, right, what I've discussed, you don't have to bother about that. You don't have to go in that depth. For you to understand what actually is image frequency problem, I solved that problem. You don't have to worry about that problem. But at least are you clear with the block diagram part of the super heterodyning? So why super heterodyning is used? Right. The basic idea is in order to overcome the difficulty of actually what having to build a tunable high variable Q filter, right? What we are doing is instead of having a variable Q filter, right, we'll have a single Q filter which operates at this frequency and some given bandwidth, so that, right, we don't have to go for a tunable high Q filter. Right. So that is the advantage of super heterodyne receivers. So the super heterodyne receivers are used in, right, AM, FM, and even in analog TV transmission and reception. So these things, I just want this as theme examples. I just wanted to what discuss. If you don't discuss this, right, maybe whatever you have studied, that will be incomplete. You are not relating it to the practical aspects, right? So do you have any doubt regarding this super heterodyning receiver, or did you understand anything? Like, should I ask someone what did you understand? If I may ask, Seven, can you please unmute?
Yes, sir.
Like, did you get something at least, or didn't understand anything?
Not complete, sir, but I
Not
got.
complete, but something. Maybe I was going a
Yeah,
bit fast, right?
uh, yeah, sir. Not too fast, but it was little fast.
It will, okay, okay, fine. So maybe this aspect, I ask you to what, maybe go through these thing. Maybe we'll have to what think through a bit, right? Once if I say intermediate frequency, some difference, all those things are a little bit abstract. It's not that actually what straightforward to appreciate, right? So maybe if you take some time and think through, for sure you will get, right? So
Yes,
thank
sir.
you for giving feedback, right? And right, if you have any doubt, or should I explain it once again in some slightly different way? Super heterodyning. So, but if you see in right,